everyone, and welcome back to English Every Day. I'm Jane.
And I'm David. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're really happy to have you here with us.
Yes, we really are. Every week, we see more and more people joining our community, and it's amazing to know that so many of you are working hard to improve your English.
That's right. We've received so many kind messages from listeners around the world. People studying during their lunch breaks, before bed, or even while taking a walk. It's incredible to see how learning English connects all of us together.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why we're here, to help you speak English in a more natural, confident, and relaxed way.
Today we have something really useful for you. We're going to talk about everyday conversations, but at an intermediate level.
Exactly. These are the kinds of chats you might have with your friends, at work, or even with your neighbors when you meet them outside.
You know, a lot of learners think intermediate English is just about learning grammar rules or using big, complicated vocabulary, but it's not.
No, it's really about having natural and flowing conversations about regular, everyday topics.
Exactly. It's about sounding more like a native speaker, not perfect, but comfortable and natural.
Yes. And remember, learning English is a daily journey. Some days feel easy, and some days feel difficult. That's completely normal.
Even native speakers have moments when they forget a word or say something funny by accident. The key is to keep going, to stay curious, to stay positive, and to enjoy the process.
That's so true. Every time you listen to a new word or learn a new phrase or try to speak, you're growing. Every small effort counts, even if you don't notice it right away.
Exactly. Think of it like building a house, brick by brick. Every word you learn, every conversation you have, adds another piece to your English foundation.
That's such a good way to see it. And you know, sometimes we compare our progress to others, but you don't have to do that. Your English journey is unique, and it's okay to move at your own pace.
Well said. So today, let's just relax, learn, and enjoy a few real conversations together.
Yes, this episode is all about chatting like a native speaker. We'll show you how to sound natural, polite, and confident in everyday English.
And we'll also explain useful vocabulary and expressions that you can start using right away.
Exactly. By the end of today's episode, you'll not only learn new words, but also understand how to use them in real-life situations.
So grab your favorite drink, maybe a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and listen along.
Let's dive into today's episode together.
Here we go.
All right, everyone. Before we start our main conversation today, let's look at 3 fantastic words that you'll often hear in everyday English. These words will help your conversation sound more natural and expressive.
That's right. And these are not just textbook words. These are words that native speakers use all the time, at work, with friends, even in small talk.
Exactly. So let's begin with the first one. My word today is hectic.
Oh, that's a really common one.
Yes. Hectic means very busy or full of activity, usually in a stressful way. So when your schedule feels crazy, when you're rushing from one thing to another, that's when life is hectic. Example, my morning was so hectic. I had 3 meetings, answered dozens of emails, and barely had time for lunch.
I know that feeling so well. Hectic is perfect for those weeks when everything happens at once and you just can't catch a break. Example, traffic was absolutely hectic during rush hour. It took me 2 hours to get home instead of 30 minutes.
Exactly. That's a great example.
All right, my turn. My word is coincidence. It means when 2 things happen at the same time by chance, not because you planned them. Example, what a coincidence! I was just thinking about calling you when your message arrived.
I love that word. It's like when something surprising connects 2 things that weren't meant to be connected. Example, it was such a coincidence running into my old teacher at the coffee shop. I hadn't seen her in 5 years.
That's perfect. And our final word for this set?
The last one is overwhelmed. This word describes how you feel when you have too much to handle, too many tasks, emotions, or responsibilities all at once. Example, I felt completely overwhelmed on my first day at my new job. There was just so much information to learn.
Yes, that's such an important word. Overwhelmed is when you feel like everything is coming at you all at once. Example. She was overwhelmed by all the birthday wishes and gifts. She never expected so many people to remember.
That's beautiful. So, to review, our 3 new words are hectic, coincidence, and overwhelmed.
Exactly. These words are super useful for describing busy days, surprising moments, and stressful feelings. Things that happen to everyone.
Yes, and you'll hear all 3 words in the story we're about to share. So, listen carefully. See if you can notice when we use them.
All right, ready? Let's move on to our first conversation.
Let's go. Oh my goodness, David, you look so tired today. How's your week going?
Honestly, Jane, it's been incredibly hectic. Since Monday, I've had back-to-back meetings and still have 3 reports to finish before Friday.
Oh no, that sounds so overwhelming. I totally understand though. My schedule has been just as crazy this week.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm just running from one task to another without even stopping to breathe.
Exactly. That's the perfect definition of a hectic week. But hey, speaking of busy weeks, did you hear what happened to Jennifer from accounting?
No, what happened? Is she okay?
Yes, she's fine now. But it's quite a story. You know she's been stressing out about finding a new apartment, right? She's been looking for months with no luck.
Yeah, I remember she mentioned that. The rental market is so tough right now.
Exactly. So, yesterday she was having lunch at that new cafe downtown. You know, the one near the train station. She was feeling completely overwhelmed about the whole apartment situation.
I can imagine. Moving is stressful enough, and finding a good place these days makes it even worse.
Right? So she's sitting there talking with her mom on the phone, looking super stressed, kind of like us right now. Then suddenly, a woman sitting at the next table overhears her conversation.
Oh, this sounds interesting.
It gets better. The woman turns around and says, "Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear. Are you looking for a 1-bedroom apartment?"
That's pretty bold for a stranger, but I guess sometimes you just have to take a chance, right?
Exactly. So it turns out that this woman is moving abroad for work next month, and she needs someone to take over her lease.
No way. What a coincidence.
I know, right? And here's the best part. The apartment is only 2 blocks from Jennifer's office, it has a balcony, and the rent is totally within her budget.
That's amazing. Sometimes the universe really works in mysterious ways, doesn't it?
Exactly what Jennifer said. After months of hectic apartment hunting and feeling overwhelmed by all the rejections, she couldn't believe how everything just fell perfectly into place.
So, did she take it?
Of course she did. She's moving in next weekend. She even called her mom right there in the cafe to share the good news.
That's such a heartwarming story.
And get this, the woman, her name is Lisa, even offered to leave some of her furniture behind for Jennifer.
Wow, that's so kind. It's like all her stress just disappeared after one lucky conversation.
Exactly. And the funniest part? Jennifer almost didn't even go to that cafe at all. She usually brings lunch from home, but she forgot it yesterday morning because her week had been so hectic.
So, if she hadn't forgotten her lunch, she never would have met Lisa and she'd still be searching for an apartment.
That's right. It's funny how life works sometimes. One small change in your routine can lead to something big.
You know what? That really puts things in perspective. Maybe our hectic weeks aren't always bad. Sometimes they open doors we don't even expect.
That's such a great way to see it. Even when life feels stressful or overwhelming, something good might be waiting just around the corner.
You're right. I think hearing Jennifer's story actually made me feel better about this crazy week.
Really? How so?
Well, maybe something good will come out of all this chaos. Maybe I'll meet a new client or learn something important, or who knows.
That's the attitude I like to hear.
Thanks, Jane. I really needed that reminder today.
Anytime. That's what friends are for. Now, shall we get back to our hectic schedules?
Let's do it. But first, I think I need another cup of coffee.
Wow, what a wonderful conversation that was.
Yes, absolutely. Did you notice how naturally we used the words hectic, overwhelmed, and coincidence in that story?
Exactly. These three words appeared so smoothly. Not forced, not like a lesson, but like real language that people use every day.
Right, and that's what makes this type of conversation perfect for intermediate learners. It sounds real, not like something from a grammar book.
Let's take a moment to break down what made this dialogue so effective and how you can learn from it.
Okay, first point. Notice how the characters didn't just exchange short, simple lines like, "How are you?" or "I'm fine." They told a complete story with a beginning, a middle, and an ending.
Yes, the story had details, emotions, and a small twist that made it interesting. It wasn't just, Jennifer found an apartment. Instead, we described where she was, how she felt, and even what led to that coincidence.
That's right, and that's what we call storytelling. For intermediate English learners, storytelling is so important because it helps your speech sound natural and engaging.
Exactly. When you add small details like locations, feelings, or reactions, you help your listener imagine the story with you. It makes your English come alive.
Yes, it's like turning a black and white picture into a colorful one. Details add emotion and connection.
Now, another thing that made this conversation great was something called active listening.
Yes, exactly. When Jane was telling the story, I didn't just stay silent. I said things like, "Oh, this sounds interesting," or "No way," or "That's amazing."
Yes, you were being a great listener. Those small reactions show that you're following along and that you care about what the other person is saying.
Right, and in English, these reactions are really important. They make conversations sound alive and friendly.
Definitely. So, if you're listening to someone's story, don't just nod quietly. Try adding phrases like, "Oh, really? That's unbelievable." Or, "What happened next?"
Those are natural, polite ways to keep the flow going, and they show confidence, too.
Exactly. And one more thing. The conversation had a positive emotional arc.
Yes, it started with stress. Both of them were tired and busy, but it ended with hope and optimism.
That's a key element of intermediate level conversation. It's not just about facts, it's also about feelings and meaning.
David, the character, didn't only listen to the story, he also learned something from it. He connected Jennifer's story to his own situation and found a new, positive outlook.
Exactly. That's what we call reflection. Thinking about how someone else's experience can change your perspective. It's what real conversations are so rich.
So, to summarize, here are the main points that made this dialogue effective. 1, it told a complete story, beginning, middle, and end. 2, it used details and emotions to create a vivid image. 3, it included active listening phrases to make the talk flow naturally. 4, it had a positive emotional change from stress to hope. And 5, it showed reflection and personal growth.
Exactly. These are the small but powerful things that separate beginner English from intermediate English.
And when you practice them, your English becomes not only more fluent, but also more human.
I love that. More human. Because language isn't just about words, it's about connection, empathy, and understanding.
Exactly. So next time you talk with someone in English, try to tell a small story, react naturally, and share how you feel. You'll sound more confident, more natural, and definitely more like a native speaker.
Beautifully said. And now that we understand why the first conversation works so well, let's move on to our next set of vocabulary words.
Great idea. Let's learn 3 more useful words for our second conversation.
All right, everyone. Now that we've finished our first conversation, let's learn 3 more great words that you'll often hear in everyday English.
Yes, these words are also really useful for sounding natural. especially when you want to describe people's feelings or communication styles.
Exactly. They'll help you express yourself more clearly and politely when you talk with friends, coworkers, or even strangers.
All right, let's get started. Our first word is subtle.
That's a beautiful word.
Yes, it is. Subtle means something that is not obvious or not easy to notice. Something small, quiet, or gentle, but still meaningful. Example, there was a subtle change in her tone when she talked about her ex-boyfriend. You could tell she still felt uncomfortable about it, even though she didn't say it directly.
That's a great example. Subtle is perfect for describing things that aren't clear at first, but still make a big difference when you notice them. Example, the subtle lighting in the restaurant created a romantic atmosphere. Many couples go there for their anniversaries.
Exactly. It's those little things, not too strong, not too loud, that make something feel special.
Right. Now, let's move to our second word, reluctant.
Yes, reluctant means not sure or not willing to do something. Maybe you feel nervous, shy, or uncertain about it. Example, Tom was reluctant to try the new restaurant because he had heard mixed reviews about the food.
Oh, yes, that happens all the time. It's not that Tom refused to go, he just didn't feel confident about it.
Exactly. So reluctant doesn't mean no, it means you're not sure yet. Example, she was reluctant to share her idea during the meeting because she wasn't sure how her coworkers would react.
Perfect. And our third word for this set is assertive.
That's a really powerful one. Assertive means being confident and direct when you express your opinions, but still being polite and respectful. Example, Maria was assertive during the negotiation. She clearly said what she wanted, but she stayed calm and respectful.
Exactly. Being assertive is not the same as being aggressive. It means you can stand up for yourself without being rude. Example, his assertive response to the criticism showed that he could defend his work confidently and respectfully.
That's a great sentence. So, to review, our three new words are subtle, reluctant, and assertive.
Yes, and each of these words shows a different style of communication or feeling. Subtle, quiet and gentle. Reluctant, unsure or hesitant. And assertive, confident and clear.
Exactly. And we'll see how these words work in real life in our next conversation. It's about friendship, honesty, and how we deal with uncomfortable situations.
So listen closely and try to notice how these words appear naturally in the dialogue.
Ready?
Let's begin.
Hey, David. I'm so glad I caught you. Are you still coming to my birthday dinner this Saturday?
Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Though I have to admit I'm a little reluctant about the restaurant choice. Isn't Le Bernardin quite expensive?
Well, yes, it's not cheap. But hey, it's my birthday. I made the reservation months ago. I wanted to be assertive and celebrate this milestone properly.
I totally understand that, and I really want to be there. But can I be honest with you?
Of course, always. What's on your mind?
I've been reluctant to say this, but I recently had to take a small pay cut at work. The company is restructuring, and I chose that instead of losing my job.
Oh, David, I had no idea. You've been so subtle about it. I never noticed anything had changed.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it everyone else's problem. But honestly, I've been worried about spending $200 on dinner when I'm trying to save money.
I completely understand. Actually, there was something subtle I noticed about your behavior lately. You've been saying no to going out more often. Now I know why.
You noticed that? I thought I was being discreet.
You were, but I know you well. When someone who usually says yes suddenly becomes reluctant about social plans, there's usually a reason behind it.
You're very observant, Jane. I just didn't want to seem like that friend who's always having money problems.
You should have been more assertive about telling me. I would never want you to feel uncomfortable about money, especially for my birthday.
I know, but it's hard to admit things like that sometimes. There's something subtle but real about the shame that comes with financial trouble.
I get that, David. But you're one of my closest friends, and friendship is more important than any fancy restaurant. What if we change the plan? I could be assertive and call the restaurant to move the reservation to next month when things might be easier for you.
No, James, I don't want to ruin your birthday plans. Everyone's probably looking forward to Le Bernardine.
Actually, can I tell you something? I've been a little reluctant about that restaurant too. The atmosphere is so formal. I was worried it might feel too stiff for a birthday celebration.
Really? You seemed so excited about it before.
I know. I was being assertive about celebrating properly, but honestly, I think I prefer something more relaxed and personal.
So what are you thinking?
What if we have dinner at my apartment instead? I could cook, invite everyone over, and make it cozy. It would feel more genuine.
That sounds wonderful. But wait, I don't want you cooking for your own birthday. That doesn't seem right.
Actually, I love cooking. There's something subtle but meaningful about sharing a home-cooked meal with friends. It feels warmer, more personal.
If you're sure, I'd love to help. Maybe I can bring dessert. I make a great tiramisu.
Perfect. And David, please be more assertive about these things in the future. Money issues come and go, but true friendships should never feel uncomfortable.
You're right. I was too subtle about my situation instead of being honest. From now on, I'll try to be more open.
That's good to hear. There's nothing wrong with being reluctant about expensive plans when you're watching your budget. That's just being smart.
Thank you for understanding, Jane. Honestly, I was reluctant to bring this up, but I'm really glad I did.
Me too. You know what? I think this birthday is going to be even better than the original plan. There's something subtle but special about celebrating with people who truly care about you.
I completely agree. Should I call the others and tell them about the change?
That would be great. Just be assertive that it was my decision. I don't want anyone thinking it's because of your finances.
Actually, I think I should be honest with them too. I've been too subtle about my situation, and maybe opening up will help others feel okay to share their challenges too.
That's really mature of you, David. I think you'll find that many people feel the same way, but are just too reluctant to talk about it. Your honesty might help them too.
That's really mature of you, Jane. I think you'll find that many people feel the same way, but are just too reluctant to talk about it. Your honesty might help them too.
Absolutely. Now, should we start planning the menu? I'm thinking Italian, since you're bringing tiramisu.
That sounds perfect. This will be the best birthday ever.
That was such a beautiful conversation, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It felt so real, like something that could happen to any of us in real life.
Exactly. And did you notice how naturally the words reluctant, subtle, and assertive were used? They didn't sound forced or robotic. They came out naturally, just like in real conversations.
Right. That's one of the main things that makes this dialogue perfect for intermediate learners. It's not just about grammar, it's about how people really talk.
Smiles warmly. Let's talk about why this conversation is so effective. First, it shows how to deal with sensitive topics, things that can be a little uncomfortable to talk about, like money or emotions.
Exactly. At the beginning, David, the character, was reluctant to talk about his financial situation. That's something we all can relate to.
Yes, he didn't want to bring it up because it felt embarrassing. He didn't know how Jane would react, and that's completely natural. We often avoid difficult topics, even with people we care about.
That's true. But Jane noticed subtle signs that something was different about his behavior. She didn't jump to conclusions or push him. She gently asked and listened.
Smiles softly. Yes, that's such an important skill in English conversation, reading subtle cues. Sometimes people don't say what they really mean directly. They show it through their tone, their body language, or their silence.
Exactly. And when Jane finally understood what was going on, she responded with empathy and kindness. She didn't make David feel guilty or ashamed.
Right. She was understanding, but also assertive enough to suggest a new plan. She didn't just say, it's okay. She took action and found a better solution.
Yes, and that's what we call collaborative problem solving. Instead of arguing or feeling bad, they worked together to find a way that made both of them comfortable.
Exactly. That's real communication. It's not only about words, but also about emotions, balance, and respect.
And notice how both of them showed honesty in different ways. David was honest about his situation. Jane was honest about her feelings toward the restaurant.
Smiles softly. Yes, that part was lovely. Both of them learned something new about each other. That honesty made their friendship even stronger.
Right, and that's another key takeaway for learners. Being assertive doesn't mean being rude or pushy. It means expressing your feelings clearly and kindly.
Exactly. When you're assertive, you show confidence and respect at the same time. That's the balance we all want to achieve in English communication.
So, to summarize what makes this conversation special, number one, it deals with a real-life problem that many people experience, talking about money or personal struggles. Number two, it uses subtle emotional details to make the story feel true and human. Number three, it shows reluctance and honesty in a gentle way, not dramatic or cold. Number four, it teaches how to be assertive, to say what you feel, clearly, but kindly. And number five, it ends on a positive emotional note: friendship, trust, and mutual respect.
That's a perfect summary. Smiles warmly. This conversation teaches not just English vocabulary, but also emotional intelligence.
Exactly. Language is not just about saying the right words, it's about understanding people. And when you understand the feelings behind the words, that's when your English becomes truly natural.
That's so true. So when you practice English, don't just memorize words. Listen to the emotion, the tone, and the intention behind them. That's how you'll really connect with people.
Beautifully said, Jane. And speaking of connection, I think it's time to move to the final part of our episode, where we'll share a few closing thoughts and encouragements for our listeners.
Yes, let's do that. We'll wrap up today's episode and remind you why every little step in learning English truly matters. What a wonderful episode today. We explored real-life English, how to speak naturally, how to express emotions, and how to connect with others through language.
Yes, it's been such a meaningful session. We learned that English is not just about rules or vocabulary, it's about people, about understanding, empathy, and real communication.
Exactly. And we also saw that words like hectic, overwhelmed, coincidence, subtle, reluctant, and assertive aren't just fancy words. They describe real feelings and real moments that happen every day.
That's right. And I think the best part is, the more you listen, the more you'll notice how often native speakers use these words in daily life.
Yes, and don't worry if you don't remember everything at once. Learning a language takes time. Some days you'll feel confident, and other days you'll feel a bit lost. And that's okay. We all go through that.
Absolutely. Even native speakers still learn new things every day. The most important thing is to stay curious, stay patient, and keep showing up, one day at a time.
Every small step matters. Every word you practice brings you closer to fluency. So don't be too hard on yourself. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems.
That's so true. And if you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend who's also learning English. You never know. Maybe your small act of sharing will inspire someone else to keep learning too.
I love that idea. Yes, let's spread positivity and motivation together. And remember, we'll have many more real and meaningful conversations coming soon.
That's right. Each episode will help you build confidence, understand emotions, and sound more natural in English, step by step.
So until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep learning, one day at a time.
See you soon, everyone.
Bye for now.